I'm John Batchelor. This is the John Batchelor Show. John Avlon of CNN and the Daily Beast, author of Wingnuts and launching the new No Labels. I want to hear how No Labels explains the success of President Bill Clinton. Friday afternoon, with the tax cut deal in the balance, the President of the United States, Barack Obama, meets with the former president in the Oval Office. He walks him to the press room, surprise. No script. The president, I'm told, and the former president had not prepared this. He leaves him a half an hour with the media. President Bill Clinton ably and articulately presents the case for triangulation for the tax cut bill, speaking directly to the Democrats, and the next chance the United States Senate has to listen and respond to the President of the United States, Bill Clinton, 83-15. Is this Bill Clinton's success, or is this the genius of Barack Obama to delegate Bill Clinton?
It was a very happy Bill Clinton at the his post-president White House press conference. Look, I think there's no question that President Bill Clinton gave this plan an additional degree of credibility, not only with Democrats, but it helped solidify the center. And look, just from a pure communication strategy point of view, Bernie Sanders had been dutifully giving his 8.5-hour filiberny on the floor of the Senate, and immediately all the oxygen got sucked out of the news cycle because Bill Clinton and Barack Obama went to the White House press corps, and you know, Obama bailed to go to a Christmas party, and Bill Clinton happily, you know, pontificated on. But it really did, I think, help solidify Democrats and help solidify the center. And this bill is a huge winner in the Senate. We haven't seen a contested bill with an 83-15 margin in the Obama presidency, I don't think.
You know, Avlon is so smooth. Did you see how he did that? I asked him a question about, did we give it to Bill Clinton or do we give it to Barack Obama? And he answered the question without answering that question.
No,
very smooth, Mr.
No.
Very smooth, very smooth. Was it Bill Clinton's victory or Barack Obama's victory?
It's like I was just reading this Walter Lippmann column this weekend, and he said, you know, still debating about whether Hamilton or Jefferson is right is like arguing whether men or women deserve more credit for.
All right, we're going to give it to them both. That's the no labels way. You see, you find a compromise, which is a word, by the way, that was rejected somewhat puzzlingly by the Speaker-elect of the House of Representatives.
Very tellingly, to my mind. We talked about this earlier on CNN tonight. And I understand discomfort with certain words. I hate the word moderate. I prefer the word centrist because I think it connotes the mushy middle. Clearly, the Speaker, whether poll-tested or instinctive, hates the word compromise. And he resisted that description of this deal over and over again on 60 Minutes this week, and he preferred common ground. Well, I don't care what you call it. I think it was a step forward in terms of changing the tone in Washington, at least moving the country forward, not left or right. But a very interesting tell psychologically from the incoming Speaker.
Mr. Avlon, your new organization, No Label, we have a question from one of our listeners. Thank you very much. Mr. Flagg asks, is No Labels code for Stop Sarah Palin?
In no way, shape, or form is it code for Stop Sarah Palin. The idea of the organization is this, is that we need to push back against the tide of hyperpartisanship that's dominating our politics. And I think for some people, you know, Sarah Palin is a deeply polarizing figure who's beloved by her supporters, but is deeply polarizing and alienating even to many Republicans. But what we're trying to do is to be the last big tent in politics. At a time when folks are burning down the big tent in almost every other front and the parties are focused on kicking folks out, we're trying to define the common ground in any initiative and then build on it. You know, it's like this healthcare debate. Every meeting began with, we agree on 80%, and then immediately became a conversation about socialism and death panels, which is insane. Stop right there, 80%. What is that? Let's start building on that. And we got Democrats, Republicans, and independents, elected officials, leading thinkers, and trying to create a new movement, create an alternative to be a third voice in our politics, create some muscle from the middle, and change the dynamic.
Today we had a ruling from a federal court in Virginia. I believe it was the Attorney General of Virginia who argued the case before a federal judge. And I did not go to law school, but I read the summaries in my favorite newspapers, the Wall Street Journal and the New York Times. And I learned that this judge ruled that the mandate clause of the Obamacare, of the health care bill passed in March, 2,700 pages, is unconstitutional. I find from my informants that that's significant because there's no severability clause in the 2,700 pages. So if one piece goes down, it all goes down.
Yeah.
That will be tested on a fast track before the Supreme Court. Do you find this momentum against healthcare significant politically?
It's certainly significant politically. Whether or not it's successful, I mean, we have a divided court. It probably comes down to which way does Anthony Kennedy swing. But this could go to the Supreme Court as early as 2011, but possibly in 2012, coinciding in any case with a presidential election. So this is big deal, high stakes stuff. Not entirely surprising in this case that a conservative judge has made this judgment in Virginia, but there are a bunch of other Attorney General cases still pending. This was going to go inevitably to the Supreme Court at some point. And so this is high stakes legal drama, folks. And one of the big questions for me is, does Washington, does the Obama administration start planning a plan B if this is struck down, that focuses more on an incremental approach that they can pass with a Republican Congress? Or is this all or nothing Supreme Court, Anthony Kennedy holding the whole balance, all the political capital that was spent on this bill, does it just hand in Anthony Kennedy's gavel?
Let me think. I think Plan B is a wise move at this point.
But you know what? Not conventional wisdom right now.
John Avlon of No Labels, CNN, The Daily Beast, and the author of Wingnuts. I'm John Batchelor. Plan B, Plan C, Plan D. That's how I prepare this program. We're going to Afghanistan next. I'm John Batchelor.